Airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock, he hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
Dante will dribble it out. The Ducks are Pac-12 tournament champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It is Duck Insider on a Tuesday. Ryan Milano here in the Country Financial Studio. It's Athletic Director Tuesday, and that means that Pooh is joining us. Aaron Wasson, the Senior Associate Athletic Director or Associate Athletic Director for Equipment, Championships, doing everything. Pooh, welcome back to the studio. It's been too long. How are you, my friend?
Doing great. Doing really good. Looking forward to the spring sports continuing and watching a little basketball this weekend. The Ducks won the Pac-12, the last Pac-12 tournament, so we're really excited.
We have some of Vegas here actually in the studio. We've got some confetti from Vegas as Oregon won that Pac-12 tournament. We're also going to be talking to Coach Melyssa Lombardi as well as talking to Oregon baseball later on today's show. But, Pooh, I mean, you're in charge of championships, and I, for one, am really excited that the NIT isn't going to be here in Eugene, but you put in a lot of work for that contingency, and we're really happy it's not going to happen.
Hey, you know what? I was really excited Saturday night after we won. I was happy to recycle that NIT manual under my desk on Monday morning. And so, yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes into contingencies and those type of things. So, really excited for the guys in Dana's program to win the Pac-12 and play in Pittsburgh here in a couple of days.
The work was done on the basketball court, but there's a lot of work that fans don't get to see that's on your end that you do back behind the scenes preparing for, well, plan A, B, C, all the way down the alphabet for however things are going to turn out throughout the course of a season.
Yeah, always have to be prepared. I think that's a part of our responsibility in administration is to kind of look at the big picture, make sure that we have plans if things don't go our way on the court or on the field. And so, we had, we were holding dates with our facility staff at the arena in case we were hosting, basketball there, today or tomorrow. But like I said, happy to kind of turn the page and shred that NIT manual.
Going from the NIT to the NCAA is really big for Oregon basketball. There have been some big changes in the equipment front also as we enter into the spring season for Oregon baseball, Oregon softball, new uniforms, a lot of stuff that you've been heavily involved with. Just sort of talk to me about the evolution of the uniforms coming into this year and the thought process that you wanted to bring into baseball and softball and how that kind of came through fruition with both of their uniforms that they've debuted these seasons.
Yeah, so, every 3 to 4 years we tried to unveil a new uniform for all of our sports, and so they're all on a cycle and a cadence. And so this year it was baseball. We were able to design some new uniforms, and quite honestly, all credit goes to John Mitchell, our baseball equipment manager. Came up with some really, really cool concepts, and he worked with our student athletes. It's all student athlete driven on some of the ideas that they come with. So that's kind of the first meeting he would have with our student athletes. And one of the things that came from those meetings was the popularity of the football throwback uniform. And so John kind of took that information from those athletes and from the coaches and really put a really cool spin on it, and had a really true throwback uniform that baseball unveiled this year. And It's funny because we get a lot of interest from the fans on, is that uniform going to be at retail? Is that that helmet or that hat going to be at retail? And so happy to say that we're working on that, and we're working on the hat specifically. Hoping that can be unveiled later this spring, and then maybe uniforms down the road. But we do have 3 baseball uniforms at retail now. But regarding that uniform redesign, all credit goes to John Mitchell. He put a lot of time and effort, and I think they came out looking sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen 4 uniforms for baseball this year: the grays, the white pinstripes, the black pinstripes, and then, of course, the 1954 throwback, which player and coach led. It means a lot to the team to sort of take that identity of the College World Series team in 1954. And I'm really glad that you guys were able to showcase that in the uniform, the history of the program, and bring it into the threads that they're bringing onto the field as well.
Yeah, and there's a great article that Rob Mosley put together on Go Ducks. I'm sure it's still there under the baseball page, that kind of captures the history of that first College World Series team and honoring that team with this uniform.
It was very, very cool, and also for softball as well. Some new stuff for softball. I saw that a little bit of a new combination where you're wearing now the green pants with the black tops. Still similar in terms of the actual uniforms, but going with some different combinations as well with what you're doing on the softball front.
Yeah, we our equipment manager for softball and track, Brooke, she works with the student athletes every week to come up with the different combinations. And so, again, student athlete driven, they come up with the idea. And so, yeah, something a little different. Recently, we did unveil a new black top, and they wanted to kind of see what it looked like with green pants, and that's what we're known for, is kind of being tip of the spear and doing things a little bit different. And then we see other schools kind of follow suit down the road. But yeah, real excited for that new uniform for softball. A whole new reset for softball next spring as we transition to the Big Ten. So that's really exciting. And then on kind of the uniform topic, a lot of new things coming for football this fall. And so starting around August, you'll see some cool things unveiled for football.
A lot of uniform changes and some new things coming up from the equipment front in that aspect, but also on the baseball front, there's a new partnership in terms of the deal. Marucci has provided some helmets, has provided a lot of the different gear for Oregon on the baseball front this year. What was that like, negotiating with them and having them come in as a partner?
Yeah, Marucci, a southern-based company that has become really popular over the last several years. Again, John Mitchell kind of led that for us, worked with Coach Wazakowski, came to an agreement with that company providing the bats, the gloves, the helmets. So real excited to partner with them this year, and you've seen the results on the field and some of the long balls from the baseball program. So that has paid off for sure.
I can announce that all of the bats, everything like that, they go through testing before the game. They are regulation, but it just kind of feels like there's a little bit more pop in those bats. The ball just travels a little bit further.
As long as our players feel like there's a little bit more pop in there, then that's all that matters.
Exactly. And as we continue to transition more and more from this crossover season into the spring season in general, there are more championships that are coming up that Oregon is going to host. You're heading a lot of those initiatives for those championships. What are the championships that are going to continue to come through, Eugene?
Yeah, so we'll definitely put in bids and organize materials for hosting baseball and softball regionals and super regionals. That comes down to qualifying. If you're the final 16, you'll get to host a regional as long as you put in a bid. So we're organizing that information now. We do host the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships for the next 4 years. We just put in a bid here recently to extend that, so hoping that the committee understands that Hayward Field is where it needs to be long term. And so that will be the first weekend in June. So really excited to bring that back here. It was here in 21 and 22. And so yeah, a lot of it's a huge committee and a huge group that plans that and puts that together. And so I just kind of organize that group on kind of a monthly basis to just make sure that we're checking all the boxes and we're thinking about the cool things. Some of the branding that we're going to do in the community, you'll see that up in early April with all the track meets that are happening at Hayward Field this weekend. So a lot of great collaboration in the track community right now. So you'll see a lot of branding kind of on Ferry Street Bridge and Franklin and MLK that will be going up in early April, stay up all summer really highlighting all the track meets at Hayward Field this summer.
And in Tracktown USA, really important that Oregon continues to be at the forefront of the track and field, and it's a great opportunity to continue to host the national championships at Hayward. That's really important to keep Eugene as Tracktown USA.
There's no doubt about it. If you spend any time at Hayward Field, you realize you're in a special place. And obviously, a lot of credit goes to Phil and Penny Knight and their generous stewardship to make that dream a reality, to upgrade that facility and reimagine that facility. And so I would highly encourage, there's a preview this weekend, Friday and Saturday, with our track meet, and I think 20 other schools. And so that's kind of officially kicks off the spring and summer of Hayward Field. So I would encourage anyone to get out and check those out this weekend.
And for us here in the athletic department, the holiday sort of the year is always the surplus sale. And I'm proud to announce that the surplus sale is coming back.
Surplus sale is coming back. It's an annual event. It's an event. That's what it is, right? And so it's May 4th, Saturday, May 4th. We'll have more details coming out early in April, kind of after spring break, about what that looks like. But again, we're going to have benefits for season ticket holders for all of our sports to be able to get in and get priority access, just like it has been the last several years. We hear great feedback from the season ticket holders that they enjoy that access. But I know I was just talking to Kenny Farr, our football equipment manager, this morning, and we'll have a lot of football helmets coming out this year. But yeah, May 4th. So look for more information in April, but that's the Saturday after the football spring game.
We have a date for the surplus sale, May 4th. Take me back to last year's surplus sale. What was that event like? What was the energy around the surplus sale? I heard that there was a line all the way out of the entire HEC complexes.
There is a long line. Like I said, the season ticket holders really enjoy that as a benefit, to get in that line early. We had probably 1,500 people that we scanned through, but yeah, it's an event, and people start asking about it the previous year, like, when is it next year? And so happy to announce that's when it is. But yeah, it's great. We'll have 1,500, 2,000 people there, and there's not a lot left when it's done. But there's something for everyone. We'll have football helmets and jerseys, all the way down to hats and T-shirts, and so it's fun. We got all of our entire equipment staff and a lot of athletic department staff involved in it. And so, yeah, it's one of those things that it's a lot of organizing that goes into it to make sure it runs, pretty seamless. But it's a lot of fun for us to put it on and be able to offer a lot of that apparel and equipment to our fans.
Such great news. Pooh, what else do you have for us on the equipment front?
Well, I don't know from the equipment front. I mean, I guess there's a lot going on. We've got men's basketball playing in the NCAA tournament on Thursday, but we've got a lot going on here in town. Like I said, we got the track meet, the preview Friday and Saturday. We have a 3-game series with softball, which I'm really involved with their program. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday against Arizona State. We've got women's tennis in town. We have, what else do we have? What am I missing? There's a lot.
There's everything. Acrobatics and tumbling was in town last week.
Yeah, we got
beach
volleyball playing on Thursday. I think there's tennis going on. There's a lot going on this weekend. And so baseball, 3-game series this weekend against Arizona. And so, watch basketball. But remember, we got a lot going on in town.
Does anything change from an actual equipment standpoint when basketball goes into the postseason? Is there anything that is going to be different as a part of their uniforms, or is it exactly the same?
No, it's Nike does some pretty cool shooting shirts for us throughout the year, but they do for all their Nike programs for the postseason. I think you saw it last week. It started in the conference tournaments. They do a shooting shirt for all the teams, and so we have that. Donovan Rogers, our basketball equipment. I'm giving shout-outs to all my staff. But anyway, I don't know if I've missed anybody yet. But anyway, Donovan travels with men's basketball. They'll put an NCAA patch on the uniform. So hopefully we'll capture that content and push that out on video of him doing that tomorrow and Thursday. But yeah, and then as they advance, when you get closer to the Final Four, Nike has some pretty cool things for their Nike schools.
We're about to catch up with Coach Lombardi, but you're also the sport administrator for softball. So catch us up on the softball front from your perspective. How have you been going through this season as the sport administrator?
Yeah, so second year working with them, and it's been a great experience. An awesome staff and awesome student athletes to be a part of. And to get to know. So I think, pre-conference, Coach Lombardi would be the first to say probably didn't get out of that what we were hoping for and what we expected, but it was a reset for conference season. We won back-to-back series, so we're 4-2 in the conference, and so expecting to keep that momentum going. And so, we're playing really well right now. We've got some hot bats, and she'll talk a lot about, I'm sure, the pitching depth that we have. We've got 5 pitchers that can go out there and win us a game, and so that's unusual in softball, I think. But I think we're really excited about what the future holds for softball. And so, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Arizona State Series, 5, 2, and 12 this weekend. And so, really excited to come out to the Jane, watch some softball.
Pooh, the Associate Athletic Director, Equipment Operations and Championships. Is there anything else you have for us before we let you go?
I don't know. Thanks for having me. I don't know why it took so long to invite me back. But, hey, you know what, Joey? We'll blame it on Joey. All right. But no, thanks for having me, Ryan. It's been a pleasure, and looking forward to seeing you this weekend.
Always great having you. I'll get on Joey. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure he's watching.
Yeah, he absolutely is. They're wheels up right now. I think he bought the Wi-Fi just so he could stream this. We're hearing from Coach Lombardi. That's what's coming up next on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. Woo-hoo! I'm having fun and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. Woo-hoo! I'm having fun and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano sitting down with Coach Lombardi. Missy, how are you? It's been so long.
I know. It's good. How are you?
I feel like I haven't been able to talk to you, at least in an on-air capacity, in over a year since last softball season. Catch me up on things.
I know. Things are good. We're going into our third Pac-12 series. This team is starting to get hot and do some really, really big things. So it's going good.
It's always great when you take your first two Pac-12 series, coming off of a series win against Utah. Just overall, sum up the weekend. How important is it to continue to take series in the Pac-12?
It's important. You know, we keep talking about this being super regional, so we've won our first 2 super regionals. That's how we look at it. And to go to Utah, who was a World Series team last year, and to take 2, we had an opportunity to sweep. We didn't, but to take the series on the road, I thought was pretty powerful.
Set the tone of the weekend incredibly early at 20 runs in the first game. How did your offense do it? It's the most runs scored by your team in 9 years. How did the offense put up that big of a number?
One thing I would say is just going into the weekend, I thought our offense, Coach Martyr, our other coaches really were on point with the game plan. Like, they knew exactly what they wanted to do. We were just waiting to see what pitcher we were going to face.
And that sort of instills some almost fear in an opponent when you come out in the opening game and you, okay, we're capable of scoring 20 runs right off of the bat. That's got to be difficult as an opponent to face off against that. Do you feel like that was sort of an intimidation factor for the rest of the series coming in?
I think it just really set the tone. That's one thing that we wanted to do. You know, when you're on the road, it's like, can we set the tone offensively? Because we're going to be the visitor for all 3 games. And I thought that just really set the tone for game 1, but for the whole weekend.
Bouncing back from what was a game 2 game where you guys were in front and ended up dropping that game in game 2, but bouncing back in game 3 to take the series. What was the team mentality going into that 3rd game of the weekend?
You know what? It was really good. I think we were all a little frustrated because we all felt like we let game 2 get away from us. We were really good in the early innings, but we didn't solidify ourselves in the late innings, and it cost us. But I think really just as a really mature team, looking at it, seeing for what it's worth, and going, okay, let's get game 3.
And so in game 3, really stellar individual performance in the circle. Elise Sokolski, potentially one of her best outings as a Duck in the green and yellow. What did you see from her when she was spinning it on the rubber? What did you see from her and her performance in game 3?
You could see early on she was doing some really good things, but kind of up and down with it. She was trying to figure out her rise ball. Her rise ball is her best pitch. It's a really pretty pitch. It has a ton of spin on it. She was trying to find the height of it, and I felt like once she found the height of it, allowed her just to settle in and go. She throws the ball hard. She's got good speed, good spin, and then she's got a great changeup. And I feel like once she just got things together, she was able to move.
As an entire pitching staff, adding in the Sokolski and having her have performances like that when you have Morgan Scott and Stevie Hansen and Taylor Spencer, it's a really complete pitching staff that you have on your hands, especially when on a Sunday game, Elise Sokolski can go out and throw 7 innings.
That's what I love about our pitching staff. I love our depth. We have the largest depth out of any staff, and you go into a 3-game weekend, you need your staff to perform, and to be able to go to Elise on Sunday and they hadn't even seen her, I thought was huge. I thought it was a huge advantage for us. So I don't need 1 or 2 to do it all. We can't. It's the competition we face is too good. You've got to trust that you can have a staff that is deep, that can come in and get the job done. And I feel like this group has been doing this all year. So I've been really pleased with them and what they've been doing and just giving us an opportunity to win ball games.
In pitching, your pitcher spun it really well, but I think this series was sort of an offensive identity type of series. Every single starter got at least 2 hits over the weekend. It was really consistency across the lineup for your team offensively.
It was. Like I said, I just think they were very prepared. They were really prepared for what we were going into, and just got there and just got things done. I loved watching them perform at the plate this weekend.
Is there an energy in the dugout? When do you sort of know that, okay, offensively, we have it this week? Is it the preparation coming in? Do you feel good about it? Is it in the dugout once you get there? Is it after game 1? When is it that you sort of feel like, oh, okay, we're swinging it really well this weekend and our bats are being consistent?
I think going into it, and then I think getting into the series just solidified it. Like that they were like, okay, we know exactly what we need to do. We're on point with what we're doing. You know, our biggest thing is when we're passing the bat, good things are happening, and we pass the bat a lot.
Ariel Carlson this weekend had another big weekend. She had 6 RBI over the weekend. That makes it 9 RBI in Pac-12 play. She's top in the conference in homers, runs batted in. Just her performance this weekend, what did you see from her?
Just loving what she's doing at the plate. She's calm. She's very confident. She knows what pitch she wants to get. She comes out of her shoes when she swings. just been really clutch for us. I love just kind of a quiet confidence, and that's always been her. Just kind of quietly goes about her business, but I thought she had a tremendous weekend.
When you have an offensive lineup, it's always important to have someone that's sort of feared as a hitter in that lineup. And this year's team different than last year's team in a few ways. This year's team a little bit older, but last year it was Tara McGowan and Allie Bunker that really provided that fear across that starting 9. Do you feel like Ariel Carlson is sort of replacing that role of a really feared hitter in your lineup?
Yeah, I think they've definitely passed the baton on to her. And what I think it does is it gives her opportunity to, I think she's very confident in what she wants at the plate. So she's seeing the ball really well. But then on top of that, I think it allows hitters prior to her and after her to get great pitches for them to see as well.
And so you go into Ariel Carlson's at bat, and usually it's an RBI situation because right in front of her is Kylie Luchar, and she gets on at a higher clip than almost anybody in the nation, and she can steal bunches around the base paths. Is almost always in scoring position. That's a really dangerous 1-2 tandem at the top of the lineup.
It's really dangerous. And on top of that, you look in the 9 with what Hannah Delgado's doing. I thought she had an unbelievable weekend as well. Like, we put her in the 9 to see if she could flip it for us, and she's been doing a really good job of flipping the lineup and not also just having Kai, but then, in her position for Alyssa and Ariel and KK and all these guys to drive them in. So I love what the bottom of our lineup has been doing to complement Kai as well.
And it feels like every single player in the starting 9 can run. Even someone like Ariel, she's a power, speed threat. Your team top in the league in steals. It's a team that can create a lot of havoc on the base paths. That's a big part of your identity.
It is. It is. We've got a ton of team speed. These guys like to run. They like to take extra bases. You look at the power that Ariel has, but then her ability to run. She's one of our top steal threats. I mean, she can move. So it's nice because we can turn something maybe not the greatest, at something out of nothing, I would say, with our speed. So just it's important that we have runners in scoring position. We want to hit the ball hard, but the biggest thing we want to make sure that we do is that we're putting the ball in play. And let's give our speed a chance to do something on the base path.
Offensively and defensively, fundamentally sound as well. Fielding percentage top in the conference. Your team continues to limit mistakes, especially on the defensive side of things.
Yeah, our defense has been great. I will say Utah, that field is a little different. It's the biggest field that we play on, and so you almost think like in baseball, you have a big hitter that comes up, you're playing them deep because of their power, and then maybe they get jammed and they get a ball that falls in because you're playing them deep. That's what it feels like at Utah's field. It's a really big field. So even on game 2, we had a couple balls that just fell in that we couldn't do a whole lot about. So to see our defense and how well they covered the ground, especially at Utah, it just tells you how strong our defense is. And I think it really allows our pitchers just to throw. We've got our infield is really, really good, fast. They make big time plays. But then our outfield, it's going to take a lot for something to drop.
And it wasn't necessarily the easiest weekend in terms of the weather last weekend. Yeah. Knight Uretsky was here, and he said that there was 20-mile-per-hour winds blowing his computer everywhere on the broadcast. That's something difficult to prepare for, though. You have to prepare for those different elements, and your team handled it pretty well.
Yeah, and that's, when it comes to elements, this team is on it. I don't think any other team in the country handles elements like we do. We deal with the rain. We went to Utah, and it's usually not windy there. It was really windy, and so balls are being hit deep, and then they're being held up. And our infielders and outfielders had to do a really good job of just being patient and not overrunning balls or, overthinking things and just letting the ball come to them. So I thought our defense was really, really good.
Back at home this weekend against Arizona State, Oregon game on Friday, celebrating authenticity. The women of Oregon bark in the park on Sunday. It's a great weekend to get fans out to the Jane.
Yes. We would love for you all to come out to the Jane. Like I said, the rumbling of the stands, it never gets old. Bring your dogs. Let's come celebrate Oregon. There's a lot to celebrate this weekend. We get to celebrate our seniors. We are looking forward to a great weekend and being home.
Scouting the Sun Devils. What's the scouting report on Arizona State?
They swing it. They've always swung it. They've got good pitching. They're very good. They're good. It's another super regional. It's our next super regional of the year. So
Last year against the Sun Devils felt like that was a big turning point in the season. It was the first sweep of Pac-12 play. It was really the catalyst for a 13-game win streak. What do you remember against Arizona State last year, and how important was that series to your season last year?
It was really big to go on the road. I mean, it's tough, you want to get the series, which is tough in this conference. Like, anybody can beat anybody, but to get the series, but then let alone to get the sweep was huge. And I thought that was a big turning point for our team last year. And they remember that. They're excited to be at home this weekend to play against Arizona State. We know it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a tough battle, but I think this group is in a really good place and just really love what we're doing right now.
That is Coach Lombardi ahead of a 3-game set against Arizona State. He's taken both series in Pac-12 play. Coach, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
We're back after this on Duck Insider when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you in the Country Financial Studio as Joey is wheels up on his way to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for Oregon's first-round matchup of the NCAA tournament against South Carolina on Thursday. No show Thursday and Friday because of the Pac-12 tournament, and we have a ton to get through. Yesterday's show, we couldn't get to a lot of the content we had from the weekend because, well, confetti. Yeah, I had to talk about the Oregon men's basketball win in the Pac-12 tournament championship and their entire Pac-12 tournament. We actually still have more content from Oregon basketball in their draw that we'll try to get to tomorrow. Oregon football we'll try to get to tomorrow. But Oregon baseball, over the weekend, they were at home at PK Park. It was a beautiful weekend for baseball. A ton of Duck fans came out. Happy to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with all of you. Happy to celebrate a series win with all of you as Oregon took the Saturday and Sunday game against Cal to advance to 4-2 in conference play, take their second consecutive Pac-12 series. Oregon got it done. The pitching staff for Oregon was really stellar, and the Ducks, they poured it on offensively as well on Sunday. Jacob Walsh is now 1 home run shy of tying the all-time record in Oregon uniform set by Tanner Smith. And Jacob Walsh is someone who hasn't spent nearly as much time at Oregon as Tanner Smith had. There's an eligibility difference there between Jacob Walsh and Tanner Smith, and Jacob Walsh is hitting a lot of home runs really early in his career. He hit 2 of them on Sunday. Ryan Cooney also broke Jacob Walsh's freshman home run record with his home run on Sunday. So a whole lot to be happy about for Oregon after the series win against California. And, well, now it's time to talk to Coach Wasikowski. Brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Here's the reactions from Waz after the series win against Cal.
Good offensive production throughout today, and pitching staff was able to minimize pretty well. Do you feel like this was one of the more complete games your squad's played this year?
Sure. I'd go with that. I think that may be a good assessment. I like the start we got out of Kevin. I like the relief work that we got. There was a mistake that showed up with Mikey, but other than that, I thought that it was a complete solid game, yeah.
You said you wanted to see Sider basically copy and paste Grayson's outing yesterday. It wasn't exactly the outing, but pretty darn close. What do you think of him?
Well, he does it differently than Grayson, different styles of pitchers. But I thought, it's a quality start. He goes out there and he gives us 5 innings. He gives up 1 run. I think that was his totals, and so fantastic job by him.
Walsh obviously has a big day, 3 extra base hits, 2 home runs, both to the opposite field. Just what do you think of him and his bat that's been heating up over the last 2 weeks?
Well, when he hits a ball to the pole side of the field, I think one of the first games of the series over the hitter's eye and onto the soccer field for like a 490-foot homer, and then he hits 2 to the opposite field and 1 to center field, and it's pretty spectacular. You're looking at a guy that's probably going to have a pretty good career if he keeps his head on straight, and he doesn't have any reason why he wouldn't. He's a great kid. He's a really good hitter, and he's getting older by the day. Credit to Coach Martyr and Hinkle and Brett Thomas for helping him with his offensive game.
Do you feel like when he's really dialed in, like he starts shooting balls to the opposite field like he did today?
Well, there's this saying too that you don't have power unless you can hit the ball out of all fields. And he can hit the ball out of left field, center field, right field. And so he's a guy that has real power, and he's an awfully good defensive first baseman too. So he's got a pretty unique package that he brings to the tables for the pro scouts.
Anson obviously hits his solo home run. Yeah. He had a double down the line to right field. Just you've been moving up and down throughout the order. Just what does it say about him as a player who's just like, I'm going to come to work today, I'm going to get 2 hits? What does that say about him?
Yeah, I think that's true. Lunch pail type guy, tough kid, tough kid. And he's we're trying to figure out the right spots for guys in the order, and we've probably juggled a little bit more than I usually like to juggle it, but we haven't figured it out quite yet. I thought today was more what we're looking for, and so step in the right direction.
Your defense, obviously good defense today, flashed the leather, especially in that 5th inning. How do you feel about your position group and how you're settling in so far this season?
Well, I don't know the stats on it, but it just feels more under control. I think that's a good observation. I think it feels more under control, and I feel like the infield play is stabilized. I think Carter Grotti and Drew Smith have done a tremendous job. The play that Drew Smith made up the middle on their leadoff hitter was just a tremendous Sports Center type play. He's settled in at second base. Carter's really played an outstanding third base for us. I think Ryan Cooney ended up breaking the freshman home run record today, and so he's quite a talent. Obviously, there's, for 2 sophomores and a freshman to be doing that, it looks pretty bright.
Cal leadoff hitters were 6 for 9 today, but only 2 leadoff hitters came around to score. What does that say about your staff and its ability to kind of calm down after maybe not the best start to an inning?
Tough. They pitched tough. They didn't give in when the beginning of an inning got rocky. They just pitched tough, and that's what that would tell me.
Does that fall under the category of pitching old?
Sure does.
What did you think of Logan today? 2 innings for you.
Really good, stable, consistent. Pitched old. Yes.
Same thing with Mullen. Pitches yesterday, does really well, comes back today, and I think he gives up first 2 base runners, but then gets 2 or 3 straight outs. Just what do you see from him on 2 days?
Yeah, and even the stuff that he was doing, to their center fielder, the pitches that he made to him were tremendous pitches. The kid laid off a couple pitches that were really, really close pitches, could have gone either way, borderline type things. He made great pitches. I was proud of Brad. He's pitched old now, just about as far as I can remember every outing that we've had. We're lucky to have him.
You talked yesterday about having a lot of bullpen options for today, and Kevin's pitch count wasn't overly high. What kind of confidence does having options like that give you?
Well, a lot, and there were, we still had a fresh Brock Moore down there. We still had plenty of guys down there that, Cole Stokes and Featherston and Clark, and those guys were all available down there and fresh and ready to go, which is nice. They haven't pitched consistently great, not all those names. Some of them, like Brock Moore and Bradley, and those guys have, and so that's why they're getting the opportunities. And we started our day with kind of the message of what Duck fans had with Oregon basketball and Coach Altman's excellence with his staff and their unity as a program, and we tried to do everything we could to reflect on how awesome their accomplishment is so far, and the fact that they have a chance to win the big tournament is really awesome, and so we're pulling for them, and they're doing it with unity and chemistry, and that's pretty special stuff they got in their locker room right now. We talked a lot about that.
Just for clarification, in the second inning when there was I can't remember who it was. Did the batter, was he called out because he leaned into the pitch, or was that something else?
If I remember correctly, yeah.
Did you guys make a call to the ump to say that, or is that just on the field?
No, the umpire made the call. We had nothing to do with it.
Center field defense, Justin Cassell obviously brought up a home run earlier in the day. I think we talked about this maybe a couple days ago, just how you feel about the outfield defense. But for him to do that and then Nabil to come in, just what does it say about your depth there, even with that you're missing?
We have depth there. Bryce is, he's losing Bryce's presence. That's a really tough kid. You have an inside linebacker on a football team playing center field for you. That's rare. And so to miss that guy for a week, and he wasn't eligible to play for us this week, and he wasn't available due to the injury that he sustained at Arizona State, should be back next weekend. But when you're losing that kind of a toughness, and for us still to win 2 out of 3, says a lot about the other guys and their toughness. And so maybe Bryce has rubbed off on some guys too, because we missed Bryce, and yet we're hoping for his recovery quickly.
What do you think of Carter today? I think he had 2 hits, had another scorcher to third base. It was a good play by him. Just what do you think of his performance?
He's just been steady. He's a really good player. He's our best infielder, and it's nice to see him coming into his own and playing as well as he is.
Do you think it helps him? Like you talked about how you kind of tinkered with the order. Do you think it helps him that he knows he's coming in, he's hitting 9-hole every day?
Well, he keeps begging me to lead him off, and so maybe someday he'll be leading off. I don't know. He's done great. I'm just happy for Carter's growth and development. Coach Hinkle deserves a ton of credit for his growth and development. He's really, really hard on him. He's coached him harder than any player that we probably have in the program. A lot of players would have probably walked and gone in the portal or transferred out with as hard as Coach Hinkle's been on him, and he's really turned into a tough player and a hard-nosed kid, and his development has been incredible. And so it says something for him to be able to handle as hard as he's been coached, and not only handle it but excel as much as he's excelling, is a real credit to him and his family.
It was a great weekend for the Ducks. Oregon men's basketball wins 3 games, gets into the NCAA tournament. Oregon baseball wins the series over Cal, their second Pac-12 series win so far in as many attempts. Same with Oregon softball, 2 Pac-12 series, 2 Pac-12 series wins. Yeah. It was a really good weekend to be a Duck, and there was so much more going on around the athletic department, but we're still breaking down the win for Oregon baseball over Cal and the momentum that continues to come through the athletic department. We're breaking down that series win, hearing from some of the players when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. Woo-hoo! I'm having fun, and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. Woo-hoo! I'm having fun, and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union in the Country Financial Studio. We just heard from Coach Wasikowski breaking down the series win over California as the Ducks were able to win on both Saturday and Sunday against the Bears, and someone who really limited the Cal offense. The Cal offense had a lot of success in Game 1, but one that Oregon really settled in against in Games 2 and 3 is Kevin Sider. The starting pitcher for the Ducks, he went 5 innings, allowed just 1 run for Cal to come across. It was a strong performance for Kevin Sider on the bump. Efficient innings from Kevin Sider, able to navigate around traffic in every frame without really allowing too much trouble at all on the base paths for the Ducks in that game. And he really settled things down. Hearing from the starting pitcher, the Sunday man for Oregon, Kevin Sider, after the series win against Cal. Here's Kevin Sider.
You think this is your best start as a Duck? I know you had a good outing against Lafayette, but a little bit of different competition.
It was a lot of fun playing a Pac-12 opponent, for sure. The juice was definitely there. Competitive-wise, maybe I would say that. But I'm giving it my all, regardless of who we play. We're out just trying to play the game.
I asked Grayson this yesterday, but Coach talks a lot about pitching old. Is that something you're thinking about while you're on the mound, or is that just kind of an overarching season theme?
Both, I would say. Yeah, definitely when you're on the mound, because it's a lot to do with presence and staying where your feet are, as opposed to maybe acting young and, things get sped up. You're not staying within your breath. I'm definitely trying to focus on that, but especially between innings. That's a huge thing where if you got to do a mental reset, you got to take care of that. That's a big part of pitching old.
There were a couple of innings today where the leadoff guy got on, but then you were able to kind of calm it down and shut him out. Is that a part of pitching old?
Yeah, you could say that. Stop the momentum, stop them bleeding. It's easy to do when you got those 7 guys and 8, including Bennett behind you. You can just make pitches and you can trust those guys making plays, and I got no worry about it.
You guys obviously understand the importance of Game 3, especially in today where it's the rubber match. How important is it to you personally to be the starter in these Game 3s like you typically have been at the start of the year? Or is that something that you're not really thinking about? You're just taking whatever opportunity you can get?
No, it's an honor and a privilege anytime Coach Waz and Coach Hawk give me the ball. I really, really appreciate that, and I don't want to get that twisted. But pitching on Sundays when it's a rubber match is a lot of fun. You need somebody to go out there and throw strikes and compete, and I pride myself on doing that. And I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to stay in this role, if I may. I love it. I love it.
What do you feel like was working for you out there?
I had a good mix, for sure. But today was definitely more of a mental approach that Hawk and I have been discussing for a while now. And today played well. But there's always room to improve. And I think we're going to do that going forward.
What is that mental approach?
Just getting after every pitch.
Okay.
We spoke a lot today about being, completely bought in. And, there's a big difference between, being 100% bought in and even 99% bought in. That 1% can really make or break you. And you got to really focus on that every single pitch, and I need to get a little bit better at that.
A guy like Rodney Green enters today, 0 for 8 with 8 strikeouts so far in the series. Is that something you're thinking about at all? Does that impact your approach when facing him?
No, he's a great player. No, not at all. You got to take everybody as serious as possible. At this level, everybody's a threat. And you can't sleep on anybody. You can't take them soft. Cal's, they're a great hitting team. I mean, you could see it today. They had a ton of hits, and hats off to them. That was great. They had a great hitting approach. So I'm not taking anybody lightly.
You had a ton of swing and misses on your curveball and your slider as well. Just what do you feel like, or why do you think your curveball plays like it does? Because it's 71, 75, you kind of change the speeds, but how do you feel like that plays going against guys?
It's just like anything else. If you can get the ball down, good things typically happen. And when I leave it up, bad things happen. But every once in a while you get lucky. But yeah, just seeing that pitch through the zone, and getting it down, and seeing it through Bennett is the key.
How many changeups did you throw today?
A few. Oh. Yeah, I couldn't tell you about like particularly or specifically, but a few.
Your pitch sequencing is obviously very lethal. Is that something that you've prided yourself on your entire career, or something that's kind of grown since you've gotten here?
A little bit of both. Playing 5 years of college baseball, including summer ball, you get an opportunity to learn how to read swings, and I feel like I do a pretty good job with that. But when it comes to game plan, like Hawk is so dialed in with that. Nobody watches more film than our coaching staff, so I have all the trust in the world with that. And he did a phenomenal job today.
A couple of really nice pickoff moves today. Obviously, got one. How is that something that you develop?
In practice. That's part of our preparation. That's part of our process, is nailing those things. So when you get the opportunity to do such in a game, you do it, and you do a good job of it. Just doing it in practice and not skipping a beat.
That's Kevin Sider. Got the win on Sunday. A really strong performance in the start from him. It was a strong performance offensively from a few different Ducks. Hearing from them, Jacob Walsh, sneak peek when we come back on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
We're back on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union here in the Country Financial Studio. We're talking baseball as Oregon won the series against Cal 2-1 as they took the Saturday and Sunday games over California. And Jacob Walsh had one heck of a Sunday. He went 3 for 4 with 3 extra base hits, including 2 homers, which now ties him for second all-time on the Oregon home run leaderboard with Tom Dodd. He had a tremendous day, and every single one of his extra base hits went to the opposite way, went backside. he has power for days. You heard Waz talk about it. Real hitters, you know they have power. They can spray it to all fields. Jacob Walsh did. Let's hear from the masher for Oregon baseball, Jacob Walsh.
2 bombs today, double left field. Do you feel like when you're really in rhythm, you're taking the ball the other way?
Yeah, that's usually my approach. Kind of stay on more balls when you're going that way, so that's what I kind of try to do. And when you get the good pitch to hit, that's what happens.
You took I think it was a changeup on the first home run, and the fastball on the second. Just do you have one that you like more than the other, or are they just both the same?
When they're in the zone, pitches to hit, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, like you said, when I'm in rhythm, that's just good pitches to hit.
And specifically, like, of the 2 home runs, do you feel like you look back and you're gonna be like, oh, that one was like the better of the 2, or is it just it doesn't really matter?
They all count for the same. At the end of the day, yeah.
What are you been feeling like with this newish infield? We're having Karate at third and Cooney at short. Just how do you feel like that's been working the last couple games?
Oh, it's awesome. These guys are all sponges. Carter took on that role at third and has been locking it down. Ryan came in, has just been unbelievable to start the year, and he's going to be really good. So yeah, it's great to see those guys.
You've been on a roll the last 2 weeks, but flashback like a week and a half ago, you didn't start in the final game against UCSB or didn't start against Grand Canyon. What did you do to kind of get yourself back on track, and then now you're out here hitting 5 home runs in the last 2 weeks?
Nothing really changed. Just stuck to my approach. Looked for good pitches to hit and put good swings on balls.
What's it like to be in this type of zone?
It's nice. It's just easy. Kind of learn as you get older. Just that's how you got to stay all times, no matter if you're going good or going bad. So, yeah.
That's the stance. But what does it mean for you guys to you get beat by 12 runs in game 1, but you win the final 2 of the series? What does that mean for you guys? Confidence-wise in the dugout, just going forward in the next week.
Yeah. Since I got here, we've always had resilient squads, and we displayed that this weekend. And so, it is what it is. Every day is a new day. So we go out and play. Nothing. We're not worried about last night. We're not worried about tomorrow. It's every game we're worried about. It's the game that's happening today.
What's the dugout like in that 8th inning where you obviously come home with some celebration, then Anson and Cooney go out and hit another solo shots? What's that like?
Yeah, the vibes are great. Smiles all around. It's a good time.
You personally are closing in on the home run record for this school. Is that something that's on your mind consistently, or something that's just?
I could care less. I don't really pay attention to that stuff.
How much do you enjoy having your head in that football helmet?
Oh, it's great. Brings me back to the old days. Yeah.
That's Jacob Walsh. He has had his head in the football helmet more than a few times. That's Oregon's home run celebration. You go through the tunnel in the dugout, you put on the football helmet. Yeah, everyone hits the head. It's a whole lot of fun. Jacob Walsh has gone through a lot of it. Couldn't get to Anson Arrows today. He had a really great post game with the media. I really wanted to get to him today. There's just so much to talk about in a shortened week. So, I'm sorry, Anson. Next time. But if you want to watch Anson's post-game interview, it's on GoDucks.com, on the GoDucks YouTube channel. That's where you guys can all go and check out what Anson Arrows had to say. He had 2 extra base hits in the Sunday game, including a home run of his own. And actually, it was really fun with him and Jacob Walsh going back-to-back, because I think it was the 4th inning, Jacob Walsh hit a double, and then the very next batter, Anson Arrows, hit a double. And then in the 8th inning, Jacob Walsh hits a home run, and the very next pitch, Anson Arrows hits a home run. Yeah, batting them back-to-back in the lineup, that's dangerous for opponents. We've got sound from football on the show tomorrow, still more basketball on the show, probably some baseball. They're meeting with the media before the show. There's still so much more to talk about in Oregon athletics. I'll see you tomorrow. Go Ducks.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain